up, guys? It's your boy, and today we are going to be talking about anime home video releases, and that's because it's a very personal topic to me. I've brought a few examples with me even to really try to get my point across here, because if you've bought any anime for home release, any Blu-rays, any DVDs, and you've looked at the prices, you might think to yourself, that's really bizarre. And you know what? I agree with you. So I'm going to be going into detail as to why these prices are a little bit odd, at least in my opinion. This is more of kind of a opinionated thing, but I think you'll see my point. So please stick around, and we'll get into that very shortly. If you do like the content, though, I want to quickly say, go ahead and like and subscribe. It helps out a lot, and let's get straight into the video. It's a great thing that we have anime home releases. At least I think so, because licensing things in the realm of anime is really, really weird, and you never know if your favorite show is going to even be available. Heck, Netflix had to license out Neon Genesis Evangelion, and you can't watch all of it on Netflix because the Rebuild movies, which are kind of a follow-up story, are on Amazon Prime. So if you want to watch all of the Evangelion franchise, you have to go to multiple different streaming services, and it's just kind of a pain if you don't have access to all of them. So having physical media where you can just say, I own it, so I don't care what streaming platform it's on, can be advantageous because licensing rights to anime are so kind of out there and wild and can get really messy. So I want to just say that up front, it is a good thing that there are anime home releases, but the pricing, I think, of them is really weird. And I'm going to go into kind of these personal examples, starting with a silent voice, for instance. And this just is going to be a personal point that I think gets at the idea that I'm going for here, which is this is a box set of the show. You don't just get, or the movie, rather. This isn't just the movie. It is the movie, an extras disc, a booklet, and some postcards. So if you get this edition of the movie, you're getting kind of a package, right? It's kind of a premium product, all nice in this little box set here, and it retailed for $80 when it released. I got it a little bit later, so I had to pay a bit more than that, but if you were going to Right Stuf and it was still available, that's what you were going to pay. And that's a pretty reasonable price, I think, because there are other editions of the movie. You can see them right now. You can get them right now. There was one that was put out by All the Anime that was $35, and then there's like steelbook editions that you can get for like $20 to $25. Pretty reasonably priced editions if you're not looking to get a more kind of premium product. I personally loved the movie, so I wanted to get something a little bit better, so I went for a limited edition box set over just getting the DVD to watch it. And that's fine. I think you should have those options available if you want to go above and beyond to say, hey, this is something that I personally really enjoyed. But that isn't always the case when it comes to these shows. Let's take something like Your Lie in April. Your Lie in April is a wildly popular show, and it has a very, very good story, and I could see a lot of fans not really wanting to go for like figures for Your Lie in April. That's a really common thing with anime, is to release figures from the show that you can pay $120 for a little like look, I've got a lamp back there of an anime character. You get the idea. We buy these things shamelessly. And the thing is, Your Lie in April just isn't that kind of show. So what can you buy for Your Lie in April to show that you're a fan of the show? Well, physical media. You can get Blu-rays of the show, right? Maybe just get a DVD for $20 that maybe has like half the episodes, $20 for the other half, and that's great. You can just watch the show. But that's not the case. In fact, the only way that you can watch Your Lie in April right now is to get the the home media release. You can watch it on Crunchyroll just fine, but if you want the physical media release, and you go to Right Stuf and you type in Your Lie in April, you'll find one result, and that one result I have right here. The box set of Your Lie in April has every single episode of the show and a handful of postcards. This retailed for $100. That's a lot for a single show, if you ask me. Especially when you can get, like, heck, box sets of The Office on DVD for probably that much money. Especially compared to a box set here of A Silent Voice where they look virtually the same, and this one's cheaper and it has a book. I just don't see the eye-to-eye comparison there. Again, these are more premium products, right? But one of them, at least, you can get cheaper versions of the show, whereas Your Lie in April, you're limited to just paying $100. Imagine this, you're a Your Lie in April fan, and there's many of them out there, and you don't want to get a Crunchyroll subscription, but you have Netflix. Well, Netflix took Your Lie in April off of the platform. The only way to watch it now is on Crunchyroll, at least in the legal sense. That doesn't really seem all that fair, because you have $80 for a movie set where you can get a cheaper version, but you have to pay $100 for a TV show, and you get less, really, in terms of, like, overall presentation and product. You could argue, okay, yeah, you get more Blu-rays, and they have more content from a show perspective than you get in a movie, but really, $20 more at a $100 price tag, is that really justifiable given the circumstances? Plus, I know you can't see this, but the Silent Voice box set is a lot sturdier and a lot better quality than the Your Lie in April one. But let's take something a little bit different then. I mentioned Evangelion earlier, it's a show that I quite like. The rebuild films of it are still available, at least the second and third one are when I looked earlier this year. They might be slowly going out in print more and more. I know the first rebuild movie in particular is pretty hard to find these days. But this is the third one. And this third one I got from Best Buy for $20. And you know what? It comes in a case and has a booklet. So, make it make sense, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, this is a movie. So, you can't expect there to be a ton of Blu-rays, so fine. It's probably not going to reach those premium prices that you're going to get for Your Lie in April as it is. But even then, you're getting close to the same amount that you're getting with a Silent Voice in this pack, but for $20. And the reason why I think this is, just on the surface level, but we'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment with a really kind of unique example, and I think one that's kind of scummy. But with Evangelion in particular, it is a massive, massive franchise, and Funimation, the rights holders for the dub, that's why they had this, is they did a dub for it. They can give it at a more kind of affordable price point because it's such a massive franchise that they probably manufactured more of these. It was almost more of a throwaway than something that is not quite as popular as Evangelion, such as Your Lie in April. Your Lie in April is still big, don't get me wrong, but Evangelion is a pretty universally loved show, or at least universally known about show, to the point where people will go out of their way to buy it at a movie store, unlike something like Your Lie in April, where you don't walk into a Best Buy typically and say, hey, do you have copies of Your Lie in April? You're much more likely to go into a Best Buy and say, hey, do you have a copy of the new Evangelion movie? They probably mass-produce these on a different kind of scale, and they probably are able to put them out at a cheaper rate. That's more just speculation. I don't have any numbers or anything to back that up. However, what I will say is that it was much, much cheaper, and the editions previous, the second movie, the first movie, also had that much cheaper price point. And if you're still confused as to trying to make this all make sense, let's go ahead and move on quickly to our last example here. And that is Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dreaming Girl. And if you're like, I've never heard of that before, but I have heard of Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, then you're probably not alone there. Because Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, for as weird as a title as it is, it was a very, very popular show. And it also, kind of like Your Lie in April, if you want to buy it, you have to pay $100 for the Blu-ray set. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. But this Blu-ray here, up for the follow-up movie, $40. So why is that? Because it's very similar. Okay, you get less Blu-rays, maybe the show should be like $75. But $100 still is a bit excessive considering you can get the movie with a booklet and a box set for $40. But this is what makes this example particularly egregious. If you're in the United States, go ahead and look up where you can watch Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dreaming Girl legally. What streaming platform you can watch it on. Go ahead. You can't. You cannot watch it legally on any streaming platform. It does not exist as of recording this video. I really liked the original series, and I just kind of happened to be browsing my anime list, and I was like, oh, there's a follow-up movie. Maybe I should watch that. And I was like, hold on a minute. why isn't this on Crunchyroll? This is bizarre because this is such a popular series. And so I guess to incentivize people to buy this movie, they put it at a bit of a cheaper price point because they're like, they don't have access to this movie otherwise, and it's a direct follow-up to a series. My only assumption that I can make is that they cheapened it for that reason. But all of that said, to make the original series $100 and then have a movie from that same series be significantly cheaper just feels like a weird dichotomy of things. And the thing is, with anime DVDs, it's not anything new. In fact, I was looking at things for my Christmas list for this year, and one of the things that I really want to get is season 1 of Rent-A-Girlfriend. There's a limited edition box set of that, and it is discounted. I've gone to the page many a time. I've always seen it discounted. I've never seen it at this price point. So I don't know if they always are running the discount to make it look better, but on Sendai Filmworks' site, they have it suggested retail price at $200 for the box set of that show, and it's not much significantly better than the ones that I've shown you here. It does have a few more things that you would expect from a box set, but in general, I don't think it's worth that price point. I think they're selling it for like $100 right now. So that's not all that bad. But say you just want the series, you don't want the box set. $70 on Crunchyroll. I've seen it lower than that. I've seen it more like $60 or $55, but the retail price is still $70 if you want to just get the first season of Rent-A-Girlfriend on DVD. If it's $60, my apologies, but it's still pretty crazy expensive. You understand the point I'm trying to make here, and that is that these things are legitimately expensive. And why do you think that would be other than, yeah, to make money? Because you can get Fairy Tail DVDs, you can get Bleach DVDs, you can get DVDs of a lot of shows for much, much cheaper price points than that. In fact, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, if you want to watch the DVDs of that, there were limited edition box sets that were only around for a certain amount of time, and a lot of them are starting to go out of print, and they'd be like $70, but if you want the first season, you could just get a Blu-ray for like $20, and it's in a sleeve, but it's not got like a booklet or anything like that. It's just the Blu-ray for $20. So why are you seeing such a weird kind of shift with a lot of these things, where some shows have these real cheap Blu-rays, and then these other shows have really, really expensive Blu-rays and no other ways to get them? Well, consider this. You are Crunchyroll. You are now the owner of not only Funimation, but also of Right Stuf. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but Right Stuf is going under the control of Crunchyroll as well. I don't know exactly how monopolies work or if that's going to go through at the end of the day, but as of right now, that seems to be the case. But if you are a streaming service and you want to make the most money as a streaming service, which is what Crunchyroll and Funimation at the end of the day are you going to want people to buy your physical media? Absolutely not, because you want people to continue to use your platform. Now, because of that, if you're going to sell home media, and they do, how are you going to market and sell that home media? It's what they currently do now, and that is selling it as a luxury or premium product. I understand not a lot of people may have this same qualm as I do, because a lot of people don't really care to own a Blu-ray player or have physical media in this day and age. I understand that. But I also think for preservation purposes, it's important because you can have access to this media should anything bad ever happen, and the licensors don't have access to these shows anymore, or don't put them on streaming services anymore. These are being marketed as premium products, judging by the prices of things like Your Lie in April, of Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Heck, even things that have these kind of limited time sets could even be seen that way to some extent, because once these DVDs go out of print, a lot of times they don't have a second printing as well, and they kind of go off into the void, and you can't really access them again for some of these Blu-rays. Blend S is a great example. It's a show that I'm very fond of. You can't really buy Blu-rays for Blend S anymore. I got really, really lucky. I had to buy it from a shady company, not even located in the US. They had to ship it. They shipped it in the US, but they had a guy drive across the border to ship it in the US. That's a story for another day. But that said, it's really, really hard for me to look at the anime industry like this and see them not releasing physical media perpetually, and they just do it for these limited releases, and see that as a good thing. Maybe they should have something like the Disney Vault, where they occasionally just kind of pump out old releases again, and that kind of thing, and I'm sure they do for like the big series, but for more obscure ones that maybe the fans just kind of miss their window. Anywho, that is all to say that the home media industry for anime right now is going down a slippery slope, I think. I don't think things are going to get any better anytime soon. But that said, if you enjoyed this video, this long rant of mine, go ahead and click that like button and go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for something a little bit different and kind of special, so don't miss out. See you on the 17th.